It's high in the air again. Is it going to clear? McCossack's are going around. Yes, that's over the top into the pavilion. A great straight six by John Snow. And something at last for these faithful English supporters. Coming quite good numbers here this morning to shout about. Really good ball that from Thompson, made it lift off a length. And that's quite an achievement here on this pitch on the fourth day. Luckily there for John Snow, there was nobody in close for the catch. There is this time, outside edge, straight into the very safe hands of Greg Chappell at second slip. John Snow falling then, caught Greg Chappell, bowled Jeff Thompson. A very excellent performance here by John Snow. 30 very useful runs, showing that even low down the order, runs can still be made on this pitch. And John Snow getting a good hand from the Oval members there. Certainly brought some life, very nearly established the best partnership of the innings. They put on 43. And John Snow finally falling to Thompson here. No movement in the ball, just playing inside it, an outside edge. And a fairly easy catch to Greg Chappell. Still going to keep the mid-off and cover point. 3 slips in a gully. And that's another catch. Oh, no bother at all there to Greg Chappell. That went quicker, low to his left. And Jeff Thompson polishing off this England innings, getting rid of Derek Underwood. First ball, almost in identical fashion to the way he got rid of John Snow the ball before.
191 then, England all out in their first innings and forced to follow on by Ian Chappell, 341 runs behind. No real choice there, I believe, for Chappell. I thought he had to put them back in again. There was a school of thought that believed he should bat on and then set England a difficult fourth innings target, but I think he did the right thing in putting them back in. Jeff Thompson shared the new ball with Dennis Lillee. Pitch very good still, and weather conditions not favouring the Australian fast bowlers today. Here's Thompson bowling to John Edridge. Seems to be a bit of bounce there this morning. Noticed when Thompson was bowling in the end of the first innings, he was getting a little bit of life out of it. It was a very good delivery that just passed the outside edge of Edridge's bat. First runs off the bat, Turner's the fieldsman, and Edridge will take 2. Crisp stroke. Ross Edwards, the man after it. That outfield is very fast. Takes the total. Now on to 9, and Edwards has made 7 of those. Good shot.
Interesting to note that in these great matches between England and Australia, there'd only 3 really wonderful names in cricket. Jack Hobbs, Wally Hammond and Herbert Sutcliffe have scored more runs than John Edridge in England-Australia test matches. Edridge at the moment lying in 4th position, 2,536 runs. Average is 48. Getting another single, which would take him nearer to Herbert Sutcliffe, the man immediately above him. Sutcliffe 2,700, but Herbert Sutcliffe, the best average of all, of course, nearly 67. Wally Hammond averaged 51 in these series, and the master himself Sir Jack Hobbs averaged 54. It's a bit close that to leave alone, but just within safety. Ball flicking Barry Wood's pad. Didn't play a shot, but I think we'll see on the replay. There's no question that ball could have come back far enough to disturb the off stump. A little bit too close for comfort. That's the best shot he's played today. Short, nicely cut away for 4. So Barry Wood, whose first 4 runs took him a shade over the hour, doubling it there with a fine cut for 4. Once again, it was a risky shot by Barry Wood. I think umpire Bird quite justified in turning down that appeal, but once again, very close. Ball coming back off the pitch, striking Barry Wood above the roll, and possibly have gone up a little higher and over the top. Got through, beating Thompson, skating away. That'll go through for 4. Thompson no chance of recovering once he'd let it slip. And to a roar of applause, the 50 partnership coming up with that on drive for 4 by John Edrich. So Edrich 39 out of the 53 England have made without loss in this, the second innings. Edrich again to face Walker. And that again, fairly close. Both openers have chanced their arm a little bit, allowing balls to pass just fractionally outside the off stump without offering a shot. I think we'll see again, that was a good decision by umpire Bird. The ball did come back, but I wouldn't have thought quite enough. But only just outside the off stump. Familiar sights, the 2 gas holders here at the Oval. One of the reasons why it's a dangerous job fielding the outfield. Very difficult to pick the ball up with the background there. Well, Barry Wood considered himself unlucky there. Had a pretty good on drive, straight at the foot of forward short leg. So it's just an hour now since Barry Wood came out after lunch with his score on 8. He's added a single in that time. He's made it this time, nothing wrong with that shot. Nice, good on drive. He's not even bothering to run for it. So just about the biggest roar of the day. Boundary greeting Barry Wood, moving on from 9 to 13 at the end of that over from Mullet. Richie Benno and myself thought we might see something of Ian Chappell before very long in this second innings. One man probably with more chance of anybody else on this pitch is the right arm leg spinner, the one spinning the ball with the wrist. It's a good shot. Half volley outside the off stump. Cracked away through the offside by Barry Wood. It's another good shot. Overpitched half volley, driven away straight this time, hurrying away for 4 more. So Barry Wood taking advantage of that bowling change, extending his score by 8 runs in that over, 2 fine shots. And he moves on to 22 with John Edrich on 48. This partnership now worth 76 for England.
Inside edge onto the pad. Oh, that must be close indeed, yes. That looked absolutely plumb, beaten for pace there. That's good bowling by Thomson, coming back in the second over of the spell and bowling really fast. Twice to beat Barry Wood, the second time having him LBW. And there it is. And yes, that looked to be pretty plumb. Looked as though he was beaten for pace there. First English wicket goes down in the second innings at 77. Barry Wood, LBW to Thomson, and he made 22. No third man. Chappell having pulled up the extra man into the slip cordon. Not worrying too much about runs, but just on getting another breakthrough. There it is, Edridge's half century. Got the 2 runs to go on to 51. He's been the main scorer for England in this total of 86 for 1. He's hit 3 fours in that half century, and it's taken him 3 minutes over the 3-hour mark. Next Walker. And there'll be overthrows there. In fact, it'll go for 5. So 5 runs to John Edridge. And I should think the umpires will have to have a word about the boys running on the field there. That was fielded some 10 yards inside the boundary. 3 slips and a gully for Thomson, bowling to Steele. That's not far away. He's not playing a shot. Normally, a few years ago, he wouldn't have had an appeal against him there, but with this new law in, I mean, a lot of batsmen in this season's cricket have allowed the ball to go. Oh, that must have exercised the umpire's mind at the Vauxhall end. Inside edge, just past leg stump. Koska, the fieldsman. To see spin at the Vauxhall end now, with Ian Chappell coming on. He's already bowled 1 over. Just wide of slip. Greg Chappell had slipped there, is very wide. That's well bowled by Chappell. And the 100 comes up now for England, with John Edridge going on to 62. 102 for 1.
There's the nasty one. It was quite skillfully played by Edridge, because that turned and lifted just a shade. Needed a long stretch out there by Edridge to smother the turn and keep the ball down. Fine ball. You see the ball lifting. In fact, they seem to take a little patch of dust as well. Very well played. Well, that gave Marsh no chance at all. It was a no ball pitched in the rough. He was completely blinded, and it'll go through for 4 byes. He's found the gap nicely. That's exactly where they took the man from. Lovely little sweep shot there by David Steele, going through for 4. Well, all batsmen are pleased when they do something like that. The field being moved, leaving him the gap round the corner, and he found it the very next ball. And again, it's good placement there by David Steele. Saw the gap this time on the off stump, waited for it and pushed it through there. And turning quickly for the 3rd, have to move. John Edrich now on 70. It's lofted high in the air around the corner there. And the sweep shot against the spin, the top edge, would really have gone anywhere. But it brings 2 more to John Edrich. So that single bringing up the 50 partnership between these two. Short one, put away nicely again through mid-wicket by Steele, off the back foot, not hit with any power at all, but nicely timed. The ball hurrying through on this fast oval outfield for 4 runs. It again, a nice half volley, another nicely timed shot. No great power in it, but the placement very skillful indeed. And David Steele notches another 3.
It's a good shot. Slightly unusual stroke, but very well executed. Rolling his wrists over the sweep without even bothering to go down on one knee.
So Dennis Lillee, always aggressive to Steele and just making him hurry. I think that's the marvellous thing about Dennis Lillee, particularly. It doesn't matter when he comes on, however late in the day or however tired he may feel, he always seems to manage to show an aggressive face to the batsman. Don't think I've ever seen him just sort of come up and just bowl a length and a line and hope for a wicket. He's always coming in, pounding in, looking as though he means it. And that one was very, very close to the leg stump. Fairly similar to the way David Steele was out in the first innings. Leg goes across, and it did in fact come between his legs, exactly the same as in the first innings, but this time it just missed the leg stump.
.150 up. For the loss of only Barry Wood. Good reply from England in their second innings, having been dismissed for 191 in the first.
And 3 times in that over, a play and miss outside there by John Edrich. Just about 17 more minutes this evening for John Edrich to hang out there. He's on 83. We're in the 81st over. Well, that's a good shot. Straight through for 4 runs. Over pitch ball. Punched it nicely away. On the boundary, taking him on to 87. 164 for 1. Should work out that the Australians will have a new ball to start the 5th day's play with here tomorrow. It's Walters at the moment, coming into Steele. that's even beaten the diving Ross Edwards. Another nicely struck drive through extra cover, not with a lot of power. Every chance that they can run for. Long, long way out to that boundary. And I think a couple of quicker men between the wickets there could easily have got 5. So the magic of Doug Walters hasn't worked this time. Pulled out of the attack after those 3 overs, and a recall for Jeff Thompson. That brought a cheer from the crowd. Short bouncer, hooked over mid-wicket, not even behind square. Ross Edwards having a chase, this time around the onside, and David Steele getting 3 more. Very, very close to that. That, in fact, going just about over the top of the off stump. And that's off an outside edge, and that'll go through for David Steele's 50. And what a great performance by this cricketer from Northampton. He goes on every match, nothing seems to worry him, plays every ball on its merit. A remarkable achievement by him in this Test match series. And it makes one wonder whether there might not be 1 or 2 other cricketers knocking around county cricket, such as he's done, who could do a similar job. 2.5 hours it's taken him. And David Steele won't be appreciating those people coming on to upset and disturb his equilibrium out there. Just 3 fours in the 50. And back to the rock-like defence.
Well, that's a heartening sight for English cricket supporters. 179 for 1 at the close. Just the 1 wicket down that of Barry Wood for 22. Fine innings by Edrich, and an equally good one by David Steele, who must reckon this Test cricket.
Good shot for 4 runs. Fine blow that. Slightly overpitched, and he was rocking onto the back foot there. Playing a lot off the back foot this morning against this new ball.
Ian Chappell just running back from having a word with Jeff Thompson. No doubt he's going to switch bowlers around, but I think his 2 opening bowlers have given him a bit of a nightmare out there this morning. I'm sure he won't be best pleased. He needed the breakthrough. The ball's been swinging around. This overcast atmosphere may not last that long, and so far in the first half hour this new ball has been totally wasted. Another one miles away from the line. Jeff Thompson not very pleased with it himself. But Ian Chappell persists with Jeff Thompson as a new ball bowler, even though he knows, or you would think he'd know from previous experience, that he really can't get it on line at all. When it starts to really swing around, he gets that one going down the leg side, then he tries to aim further offside and it swings the other way.
3 runs there. In fact, the way that outfield is, it might even be possible for them to run 4. And that 4 takes the England second innings total past the 200 mark, and it takes David Steele on to 64.
So Lily to Edrich. And he's bowled him. And there's a breakthrough that Australia have waited such a long time for. So poor John Edrich, who's played so supremely well all the way through there. Bowled and comprehensively beaten there by Dennis Lillee with his score on 96. Well, that's a great performance by John Edrich, getting applause from the fairly meagre crowd here today, but getting a very good hand from the Australians. They've always appreciated a fighter. And applause, relief, of course, from the Australians to see the back of John Edrich, who once again has done a really sterling job here for England. 6 hours he's been out there, 1-5 and 6 fours in an innings which has brought England right back into this game. Lillee getting this one right on target, making it come in just a shade off the pitch to Edrich, finding the tiniest of gaps there between bat and pad, and over goes the middle stump. 3 slips back under gully, 2 short legs for Graham Roop, Alan Turner at forward short, where he took the catch to dismiss Roop in the first innings. Well, it's safely away, jabbed down on it, kept it along the ground. No third man, it's a chase back there for Dougie Walters. And Roop away with 3 runs. And there's a very relieved England cricketer. England 341 behind on the first innings. Gradually whittling this difference away. 209 for 2 now. Those runs have taken a little bit of getting. It's exactly 100 overs. And Lillee into the resolute steal. And that's a flick, and he's out, caught behind, and Lillee takes his 2nd wicket. Marsh making no mistake at all there. Nice gentle catch going to him, just away to the right. And David Steele, the end of another really fine innings, won't be terribly pleased getting out to that particular ball or playing that shot at it. Just a slight lapse of concentration there. And he goes for 66. And England losing their 2nd wicket of the morning. David Steele, as so often happens after a long partnership, following John Edrich back into the pavilion. But a really wonderful effort there from the Northamptonshire cricketer, who's made his mark on the Test match scene during the course of this series. And those Australians must be absolutely delighted to see the back of him. This is the way he went. Wideish ball there from Lillee, initially going forward, changes his mind, going back. And a very un-Steele-like shot to end his innings. 215 minutes. He was out in the middle, hit 6 fours, and the man to take his place is Bob Woolmer of Kent. Harold Bird under the impression there that Graham Roop wasn't quite ready, that Bob Woolmer wasn't quite ready. So Lillee, a long run up in vain there. Trying again.
Or runs. Nothing wrong with that for a shot. It's a good shot. Craig Walters, the fieldsman. And it will just beat him into the fence. little bit cramped for room there. So it's coming back at him all the time. Pretty cramped looking stroke in the end, played from round about leg stump. It's along the ground, bouncing in front of Walters and between Walters and Greg Chappell for 4 runs.
So it's been hard work for the English batsman. Woolmer thinking of one there, sent back by Roop. Done by Woolmer, very fine for 4.
Greg Chappell going some half-dozen yards deeper now. He's there really for the mistimed on-drive. It's good, firm, straight drive by Graham Roop. That'll go through right up to the pavilion rails for 4. So both batsmen finding the boundary here in this session after lunch. Just as Lilly slowed down his pace this morning and got some movement with the new ball, Ashley Mallet here is bowling considerably slower than he did yesterday. Nicely flighted, but firmly driven again this time by Root. No effort for anybody to move as the ball comes straight through, right in front of the ladies' pavilion this time for 4 more. So that good second boundary since lunch from Root, bringing up the 250. Thompson to Woolmer. Shout for a catch behind this time. It seemed to flick the pad and giving it a little touch to put everybody's mind at rest there. Seemed more likely, in fact, from that playback that it flicked the pad and not the bat. That's a good shot. No third man, that's hurrying away again for 4. Nobody down there on the third man boundary. Woolmer nicely over the top of that. There seems to be a slight change of tactics here now by Ian Chappell. By such a battle to break up this partnership. He's got his bowler operating with a fairly defensive field. One of the few times in this series, nobody close catching around on the leg side, just an orthodox 2 slips, a gully, a cover, even an extra cover in now. Mid-wicket push back, mid-on, trying to keep the runs down. Some distinctly unfortunate calling going on there between those two. Never quite sure whether Rod Marsh was going to gather that ball. In the end, he had to run some 30-40 yards to retrieve it. Of course, the Australians acting as hosts to the West Indies fairly shortly after they get back. It's amazing what a month's break can do. Oh, it's a glorious shot. Half volley. As good a shot as we've seen here today. Woolmer throwing the bat at it there, striking it right in the middle and giving cover and extra cover no chance at all. Nice full flowing shot. Greg Chappell again to Graham Roop. He's got it this time all right. Chopped it away down to third man. Tried it a couple of times in the last over, didn't make contact. But there's at least 4 runs here for Graham Roop. Have to run them all, but doing it easily. Got it through this time, played it fine and late again, and that'll go all the way through for 4. So the boundary taking Graham Roop on to 53. 53 coming in at just a shade over 3 hours. 8 fours in it. On 50 in his first test match against Australia. So it's been a good match for the 2 home-based players here. John Edrich 96 and Graham Roop now on 53. Roop facing Chappell. That's a short one, pulled away this time by variation to mid-wicket. Thompson after it. And the 3 runs there to Graham Roop, bringing up the 300.
Put him down. Greg Chappell. It flew. Greg Chappell got one hand to it. And that really is the one the Australians wanted to pick up. Off a thick edge, cramped for room there a little bit. And Greg Chappell, an involuntary movement, the ball was travelling very fast. And it bounced away over his head and a little bit to his right. And there's 4 runs. So in the 49th over, the unbroken spell of maidens, ranging from the 37th over Mallet has bowled, that has now been broken. Partnership is now worth 100, and Roop has gone on to 70. It's 4 through the gap. There's 2 slips in the gully there, but that split the second slip and Mallet at gully. Not a bad bounce of that. He picked it up a little bit late, I think. Looked as though he was standing up for the shot and then suddenly realised it was coming around about shoulder high. The light is all right here, but not as good as it has been on some other occasions during the game. Four runs. Similar sort of stroke from the one he was dropped from, and Greg Chappell got one hand to a chance at second slip. Once again, he's a little bit cramped for room. Didn't quite have time to roll his wrists over it. Slashed it away over the top of slips.
umpire, I think it's out of shape. Dennis, why don't you keep going with it? I think that's probably knocked it back into shape. .330 for 3.
Ross Edwards still very alert. Marsh moving particularly well there. A long way to come up, standing back there to Lilly, and Marsh quickly up to the stumps, taking the good throw. Has bowled him. Little variation of pace that held that back a bit. Graham Root clean bowled by Dennis Lilly with his score on 77. And again, the Australians a long time to wait for that wicket. But once again, it was Lilly doing the trick for them. His third wicket in this innings, 3 out of 4. Bowling Graham Root for 77 with a score now on 331 for 4. Great performance here by Graham Root, making up for his failure there. Naught in the first innings, and the crowd rising to Root, and the Australians too, giving him a great hand.
Tony Greig.
Slight change of pace here, causing Root's downfall. Much slower ball. Well, that innings of Graham Root lasting for 4 hours, doing a great job, taking the score on from 209 to 331 in a fine century partnership there with Bob Woolmer. Tony Greig, England's captain, in at number 6, must be highly delighted too with the performances of his early batsmen in this second innings. So that's the meagre difference now between the two sides, and England with 6 wickets in hand. As Tony Greig takes guard here. It's quite a hazy light here at the Oval at the moment, not particularly good. This ground, particularly at this time of the year, never a very easy one for seeing when you first go in. Two umpires asking the batsmen about the light, no question what they want to do, and they're going in. Well, the light isn't very good. I'm fairly surprised that they've decided to come in. I didn't think it was really all that bad.
333 for 4 then. A solid innings from Bob Woolmer, 37. Tony Greig remaining 1 not out when the umpires asked him if he'd like to go off when the light worsened. Good innings from John Edridge.
3 days ago. Got it away nicely on the offside. That'll be his 50 as Ross Edwards chases it. So a good encouraging start here for England and Bob Woolmer this morning. Going through to his 50 in a long haul yesterday, and it's taken him just close on 4 hours. So it's up to Greig and Woolmer to try and see this new ball off, and if they can do that fairly comfortably, England in turn will been a fine position to hold the Australians at bay. There's the new ball being signalled to the scorers. Lilly to Greig. It's a good shot. Short ball, pitched halfway down, and Greig latching onto that very quickly indeed. Oh, it's a good ball. Catching an inside edge, flying away down there to deep long leg.
And that is out. So Dennis Lilly breaks through, and it's the 5th wicket to go down for England. Tony Greig out to a good delivery there from Lilly. 6th day, and he's still able to get the ball to move away from the bat, and it's his 4th wicket. Very good delivery from Max Walker, again the one leaving the bat. Missing leg stump, I should think. Max Walker bowled that on a fairly acute angle. Have another look at it here. Woolmer was moving into his stumps. Yes, it must have been very close, but I think it reinforces the impression that it might just have missed leg stump. Oh, that went through at catching height. Not sure what happened there, but no one seemed to sight it at all. The two Chappells made a very belated move. Greig at second step hadn't moved, and Ian only just got the hand down the last moment. That's 4 runs. Quite an involuntary stroke there. Alan Knott was leaving the bat out of the way of the ball, but it came back enough to hit it and run straight on the ground to third man.
First appearance of Jeff Thomson today, with England's lead standing on 58. 3 slips and a gully coming into Bob Woolmer. Plenty of time there from that loosener to put it away wide of Ross Edwards and bring up the 400 for England. Driven firmly past mid-off there by Woolmer. That'll go through for 4. No rain here at the Old for days. This outfield brown and barren, and the ball always gathering pace there once it beats the fielder.
Good shot for 4. Very strong driver, Bob Woolmer. He doesn't waste any time once the ball's over pitched. Mainly concerned with the forward defensive stroke to anything on a length, but that extra yard of length from the off spinner brings him into the cover drive, and it's a good shot. Nicely timed, foot across to it. It's a bit too high, I'd say. Not many spectators in the ground this morning. Not all that many watching from outside either. There's one man with a little bird's eye view. Lovely shot. It's twice in this spell that Woolmer's got Mallett away between cover and mid-off. It was a good shot.
Lily to Woolmer. Took that one in, but got hardly any response at all. It bounced very gently and slowly off the wicket. Woolmer allowing it to hit him. Have a little bruise there tomorrow, but he won't mind that, particularly if he can get 6 more runs. That's a good ball, certainly beaten there, played and missed. And Lily, even at this stage, able to pull one like this out of the bag. And Mallett to continue. Well, been a chance there if there'd been another short leg in. That one turn lifted a bit. Woolmer taking 2 runs, and he's had 2 short legs posted there for Alan Knott, and it taken him away for Bob Woolmer. That's through, that's a fine shot, that's going all the way through for 4. And a magnificent achievement then by Bob Woolmer. Really has been a wonderful effort in just his 2nd Test match. And Alan Knott going out to shake him very warmly by the hand. And deserving the acclaim of this able crowd.
Included 11 fours and
11 fours in that 100. It's taken him 392 minutes. And in fact, it is the slowest century ever recorded in an England-Australia Test series. But absolutely vital for England that Bob Woolmer stayed there. His first 100, of course, in Test match cricket. And it's only the 600 he's ever made in his life. Ian Chappell, the Australian captain, coming on to bowl his leg breaks from the pavilion end, taking over from Mallett. Oh, it's a great shot. Good a shot it is played the whole of the time he's been out there. Tossed high by Chappell, inviting the cover drive. And Woolmer there playing it to perfection. Oh, that's another fine shot. Found the gap again between bowler and mid-off. Ian Chappell looking here to try and buy the wicket of Bob Woolmer now. Bowled considerably slower in this over, tossed it higher, given it a bit of air. The young Kent cricketer has taken full advantage, moved on to 109. They've picked that one up all right, dropped it short, nobody around there at mid-wicket. Turning for the 3rd and coming back for the 4th. 4-all run to Alan Knott. And Dennis Lillee must surely now be on the point of having a breather. A great spell from the pace bowler, complete in 50 overs, 4 wickets at a cost of 90.
Man behind square leg saving the single, mid-wicket and mid-on. That was Ross Edwards' first ball in Test cricket. Four runs. And the England lead now 133. Partnership comes up in 158 minutes between Bob Woolmer and Alan Knott. Takes him on to 49. And a half-century to Alan Knott, and the total going on to 484. Took him 161 minutes, and he hit 4 boundaries in that 50. The overall lead now is 143.
But I can't see after this long grind here that any early declaration's going to come. I wouldn't be surprised with a late one, just on the possible basis of picking up a few wickets. Oh, what a push that was.
4 more. It's a good shot. Nicely kept down. He played at the pitch of it, and they'll take the 4 runs there. They all run. That's 4 runs, and that is Bob Woolmer's highest score in first-class cricket. His previous best was 125 against Oxford University at Oxford earlier in the summer, and the 500 has come up as well. Shortly after making that 125 against Oxford, Woolmer hit another 125 against Derbyshire at Chesterfield. So he's beaten those scores today. 129, his best in first-class cricket. Attempted bouncer and 4 runs to take Woolmer on to 138.
A big shout for a catch, yes, and a long delay there from umpire Spencer, finally giving Alan Knott out. Waiting to see, I think, if that ball had carried to Marsh, went through very low indeed, down on the ground, but Alan Knott perfectly happy, I think, about it. Little inside edge, a wicket to Walters, and Alan Knott out for 64. Playing now with a certain amount of freedom, looking there to put it away down the third man. I think you could almost see the deflection going down and low, and a really fine catch that by Marsh, and also a really fine innings from Alan Knott. Came in at a critical time when it was vital for him to stay there and make runs. He did just that and saw England surely safely through here. And that's a gentle catch from Chris Howell off it to mid-off. Ian Chaplin, unusual spot there from mid-off. And Chris Howell, who's been sat in the pavilion for 2.5 days waiting to go into bat, falls without scoring. Walters does the trick again for Australia. Chris Howell here offering a very gentle catch to mid-off. Ball never quite there, of course, for the drive, and the bat going through and resulting in a very simple catch.
Philip Evans.
Well, that's a really fine shot. Edmonds opening his shoulders there, giving that half volley the full treatment. Really cracked that away wide of mid-on for 4. Well, that 4 takes England's score past the Australian score here in the first innings. 5:33 now. Australia making 5.22. They declared with 9 men down. And trouble here. Here's Phil Edmonds, he'll have to go. Woolmer already down that end, and Phil Edmonds there sacrificing his wicket to allow Woolmer to stay. Woolmer remains on 147, 5.33.47. Well, how would you believe it? Full toss, it's straight back at Doug Walters. And Doug Walters now has collected 3 wickets in a very short space of time. John Snow, the man out there, also out without scoring. So Chris Old out for 0, Edmonds run out for 7, and now John Snow falling also without opening his account. A little collapse here at the end of the England innings. The 9th wicket going down on the same score at 533. Chappell to Underwood. Oh, and he too coming, wanting a little bit of the action. It's 2 runs there. And that's LBW, and Woolmer has gone, and England are all out. And Bob Woolmer, the last Englishman there to surrender his wicket for 149 in a really great performance. So Woolmer out there for 8¼ hours at a time when England really needed every run he could make. Has turned in a super performance for his country. The crowd that are still here giving him a fine hand, the Australian players joining in, and he really has played the most valuable innings of his career.
Well, that's a sizable second innings total there for England, 538. Bob Woolmer just 1 short of his 150. A splendid innings today. He really did play some glorious strokes, particularly on the offside, and it was in direct contrast with his batting yesterday. But he and Alan Knott today saw England out of danger. Not very good 64. He started off scratchily and then played well towards the end. The rest of the batsmen didn't have to worry because it was only academic from the time they came in. The 538 is the second longest innings in the history of Anglo-Australian cricket matches. The Australian bowlers, Walters picked up 4 for 34 in his 11 overs, but the best of the bowlers was Dennis Lillee, who also took 4. Now there's a travesty of statistics for you. Walters and Lillee getting the same number of wickets. Lillee 52 overs, 18 maidens, 4 for 91, and with the exception of one little spell with the second new ball, he bowled as well as I've ever seen him. A tremendous performance. None of the bowlers able to extract any life at all from the pitch there. Max Walker none for 91, Ashley Mallett none for 95. A disappointment that, 64 overs, 31 maidens, and I'm sure he's disappointed at not getting a wicket on either the 4th, 5th or 6th days. The Australians had a maximum of 25 minutes and 20 overs to play, and Tony Greig soon switched to his spin attack, and he was successful in picking up the wicket of Alan Turner, caught at short forward square leg by Bob Woolmer. Quite a simple catch, but one that probably encouraged Greig to switch to Edmonds and Underwood very quickly. Ross Edwards came out, sent in by Ian Chappell, playing in his last Test match in England. Last time he represented Australia, he was given a tremendous ovation all the way to the wicket by the spectators and all the England players. He'd made just 2 when Derek Underwood came on, had him drop first ball, and then Chris Old finally took a juggling catch at first slip to send Edwards back to the pavilion. So the 2 batsmen out, Turner for 8, Ross Edwards for 2, and finally the game was called off by the umpires for a bad light when McCosker had made 25 and Greg Chappell 4. 40 for 2 Australia finished. The game was drawn. Australia won the series and retained the Ashes, and a little later Peter West talked with both captains.
Well, Ian Chappell, congratulations as the man who's won the series and kept the Ashes. So can I put the ball in the losing skipper's court to start with, Tony?
Yes, I'd like to say the same, Peter, to Ian and his side. Congratulations. They came out here to retain the Ashes. They've done just that, so one has to say well done and good luck to them.
You're not too tired to reply to that after 15 hours in the field, Ian.
Gee, I think I've had enough fielding for the rest of my career in this game. I'm sick of the sight of that oval, I must admit.
You announced your retirement as captain officially today, but not as a player. That's right, is it?
No, I still go on playing, but I've had it as a captain. Yeah.
Why is that, dear?
15 and a half hours out there fielding, I think.
You've never lost a series since you won lost your first Test match against Ray Illingworth's side, so you have a great record.
Yeah, I just felt that I'd always know when the right time came, and I just feel that now is the right time. It's getting a little bit harder, and I feel it's probably as much as anything. I think Australia are due for a new captain too, and a bit of a fresh thinking and so on. Don't think that helps it.
Tony, was there ever a moment after you've been put through the hoop in the first innings when you contemplated even the possibility of an English victory?
Well, to be realistic, I think I've got to say that the big thing was that could we save the game? I mean, a lot of runs behind and a wicket wearing. In fact, it didn't wear as much as we thought it would, but I thought that our chaps did pretty well to come out of it with a draw in the end the way we did. We were a long way behind, a lot of road to make up, and it would have been great to have been able to set them something to go for. But again, I don't think there have been too many captains who've lost Test matches on short time declarations. On a short time declaration, there's only really one winner on wickets like this, and that's the batting side.
Well, in hindsight, it appears now that the Test series was lost to England by Mike Dennis's decision at Edgbaston to give Australia first use of a good batting pitch and then find himself caught on a damp pitch by the Australian fast bowlers, a replica of the last summer in Australia. The games as a whole were very, very good. There were some good plus marks for England. David Steele played well in his first Test and then fortunately continued it on. It wasn't just a 9-day wonder, and Bob Woolmer came good in this final Test match. 2 real plus marks there as far as the England selectors were concerned. Chris Old, I thought, had quite a good series. His batting needs to improve a little more against the quick bowlers, but he's showing real signs of all-round ability at the moment. For Australia, well, they've lost Ian Chappell, and that is a blow as captain. He'll still be there as a player, but they have got McCosker as a very, very big improver on this tour. He'll be very good back in Australia against the West Indies, and he'll be back here in 1977. And 2 other names, Gary Gilmore, who's quite well known after his exploits on this tour, and the other one is Alan Hurst, who has bowled pretty fast on the occasions I've seen him during the past 4 months. A good series, sometimes really great cricket played, but always interesting. I don't think there were very many bad moments during the summer. It started off with the Prudential World Cup, finished with today's game at the Oval, and for me, a really good summer of cricket.